Oh, nuts. Did I not add? Oh, I put the stupid thing on top. Hold on. Take that off. Dang it. It was so close. It was so close.
So far, I'm the only one who's been able to do this successfully as a host. This is true.
Oh, no,
I don't understand technology.
What's with the background?
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Look, I was busy doing other things.
The headphones threw you off. What's good, everybody?
Yeah, they throw me off. I'm like, yeah, just awkward. It's awkward using.
Well, you are an awkward person, so I expect nothing less.
Right on. So, it wouldn't be a show without Nickatina, so we thought we'd add him at the beginning of the show.
Katsuka was like, was I the only one who saw Nickatina for like a minute with no sound?
You are not. You are definitely not.
It's like, yo, what's going on?
You are not hallucinating. That was reality.
It's April Fool's. Nickatina is on assignment tonight. We forbid him from the studio. So let me see. Yes, yeah. He was here, but only for a hot minute. But because we don't like him very much, we couldn't. We didn't keep him for the show. But yeah, so let me bring in one of our guests who's also a panelist. I want to say she's pretty much the fourth nerd. If there's ever an audition, she's already passed. She's won the role. Help me in welcoming Allie from Super Hive. Thank you so much for taking
Hey. She's like, yo, what?
Every week. I mean, if he misses a show, you're always there. It's almost as if you're chasing ambulances. You want this position so much. It's yours. It's yours.
What does that mean?
We never know what Ryan means.
What is going on right now?
We just go with it.
I know. I'm a little sleep deprived, but it's all good. Also want to meet or bring in one of our other panelists on here. He's actually he streams a lot with Anthony. He's a really cool guy. Great to have him here. And here he is, Mr. Dave Avery. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Allie?
I tell you, if Allie doesn't want the position as fourth nerd, we'll definitely extend the invitation to you.
You're just giving away jobs today, aren't you?
Look, this guy here is trolling the chat. Mods, if this guy gets out of hand, please ban him from the studio.
He said Ryan doesn't have the authority.
Don't have the authority.
Ryan, hold up.
Why are you telling me? It wasn't my idea.
Ryan signs the checks, Nickatina. Oh, you don't know because you don't get a check yet. My bad.
You don't get a check. You have to have tenure. He doesn't have any tenure.
Right, because we're that official.
Hey, we got a YouTube channel now. We didn't used to have one. We have one now, and it's pretty dope.
This is a fact. We do have one now. This
there
is
you
true.
go.
Yes,
there you go. We're official. Yeah. You're official, and we give out checks. Apparently, you didn't get yours. So
I'm loving the purple lighting, Dave.
I like it. Cool. I like it.
I had to step it up a little bit. Hey, I couldn't stop laughing because when I freaked out when I saw Nickatina. So when I logged in, that's why I DM'd you, Anthony.
Yeah.
I was about you too. I was confused.
He got the wrong link. I was like, oh no!
He thought he had the wrong link.
I thought I had the wrong. I was like, why is he just sitting there not talking?
And it said live, so I was like,
it was live.
We got it. Yeah, that was.
I got everybody. I mean, everyone's like, don't do any jokes on April Fools. Well, I did one earlier on Twitter that maybe not a lot of people liked, but I liked it. And I was like, well, let me do one here for the show as well, since Nickatina can't be here today. I went ahead and made sure he was here today in some fashion. But we do have our special guest backstage. I do want to bring him out. You all know him as Ray Porter, but
that's his name.
The rest of the world heard him as Darkseid. I got it flipped here. Welcome, Ray.
I sure hope the world knows him as Ray Porter.
Yeah, exactly. It's like not enough O's in the word smooth, dude. From the beginning of the show to now. You all know him as his name.
Oh my gosh.
But in certain circles, he only answers to a certain piece of IKEA furniture. It's like, what the hell are you? All right.
I actually went to IKEA the other day. They
Did
didn't
you?
have anything I wanted, so I left.
Well,
That's great. That's fantastic.
It
I remember
wasn't
reading a
really
thing
much
of
of a
people-
story.
I remember reading a thing about people mispronouncing IKEA furniture names and accidentally summoning a demon.
Oh no!
Oh yeah. Apparently that can happen. You got to watch out for it. Anyway,
Man.
many of you know me as Ray Porter.
That'll never go away,
Because
Ryan.
That's who I am.
As soon as it was coming out of
Hi,
my
everyone.
mouth, I was like, "Oh, well, I just got to go with it." So
Like
we
a
have all hail
flip-flop.
Darkseid, all hail Ray Porter. See, Nickatina
Hello.
got it. What's up, Russia?
Hey,
What's up
Russia.
to your Jason?
Your
Sickness is
Jason.
in the house.
Hey,
Ray
Sickness.
side. Oh,
Like that.
like
Yeah.
that.
Hey,
like
Anthony.
that.
Show up to
Hello,
your next
hello.
time reunion, be like, "Don't call me Ray anymore. Just call me Rayside."
Yes, I'll say, you all know me as Ray son.
Ray Porter.
What?
Oh, God, that is funny. Oh my God.
We'll never
So how
forget.
is everyone?
Doing
Doing
good.
good. Doing good.
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 How you doing?
Yeah.
I got my first shot today, so I'm full of 5G and can hear Bill Gates' thoughts.
Nice.
You have access to his bank information. That's the key thing here.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so when
Okay.
they give you the shot, did they make you
Blue
wear
screen.
the aluminum hat?
They did. They had me plugged into something, and it was one of us, and then a Dalek came out. Now,
Exterminate.
I was saying
Exterminate.
before the broadcast, I do not do this, but I wore this shirt today to get the shot, right? And the guy who's organizing the line, herding people, he was like, "Hey, nice shirt, by the way." I was like, "Oh, did you see the movie?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Did you like it?" He goes, "Oh yeah." I said, "What'd you think of Darkseid?" He went, "Meh."
Yeah.
I went, "Wow, it's a shame because I played him." He was like, "Yeah, really?"
I can flat out say that guy does not speak for the majority of people.
Look, most of the world knows you as Ray Porter.
Yeah, well, weirdly,
You're like,
that's
look
the
at
thing.
my appointment thing, and then go look on the credits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No reason
exactly.
to lie.
It's such a shot. What's up?
What's up? But you were telling us that before. You were telling us that before the show, and he told some other guy, right?
Yeah, so then there was a guy with his daughter waiting in the line behind me, and I guess he asked him what was that about, and so I look back at the guy with his daughter, and he's standing there and goes, maybe he liked it, or I don't know. We're about to get our shots.
It's his way of saying I'm sorry.
Yeah,
He does not speak for us.
poor guy.
You're right.
So I am curious, Ray. How many times have you seen the movie so far?
I have seen it a total of 3. I know that I'm lagging way behind others who've seen it, multiple times, but I've seen it 3 times. Largely just because busy. Sorry,
Yeah.
text message, but largely because basically just really, really busy.
Oh yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that.
Hang on just a moment.
Right on.
Yeah,
So
childcare.
Dave, welcome to the 4Nerds as a panelist and not as a guest.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, you've made so you do Twitch. Is that the reason for the purple? That's the reason. No?
Yeah, we'll say that. Yeah, we'll say that.
Are you on camera now?
He's like, that's real clever. Yes.
I could do that. Yes.
Yeah. That sounds
So
good.
what games or what is there one game that you play the most? Because I know Nickatina talks about he watches you all the time
Mhm.
and encourages me to do so. I play I've been playing this and it's even though this thing is 11
Oh, wow,
or 12
that's
years old.
7,000 years
Yeah.
old. Yeah.
Yes, I still play it and I played it yesterday and so
And yet somehow it's still younger than Ryan.
but yeah, so what game do you gravitate toward?
Right now, I'm hooked on Rocket League. I've been playing that a lot.
Yeah,
Before,
but-
I was hooked on God of War.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
So fire,
I might
dude.
get back
So
into
fire.
that. It was fun. It's a fun thing.
Rasha, I'm so happy about that.
What was it, Roger said, Ryan?
She said she
Oh,
still
she said-
can't ask her kids for anything without the answer being for Darkseid. Good.
I love that.
Good.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
You know, that
Actually
was
had
another
someone
thing that I
in my
didn't hear in the
Twitch.
movie was, for the unity.
Yeah.
No,
My
yeah.
Twitch last night said they've seen Zack Snyder's Justice League 46 times.
Whoa.
46
Wow.
times. Yeah.
Wow. 46,
They-
46 4 is a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that? How many hours? That's a lot.
Like 90
Hold on,
hours.
I'm gonna
Dawson-
calculate this real quick.
Yeah.
All right.
I've seen it. I've seen it like 10 times, and I thought that was a lot. I was like, yo, do I need to check myself? But then I was like,
That's
oh.
184 hours.
Yeah.
84. Okay, yeah, about 90.
184 hours.
184
Oh,
hours.
snap.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a full time.
Wow. Well,
So-
I'll tell you that.
Well, the movie came out on the 18th.
Hey, Fatal J, how you doing?
What's up, Fatal? So the movie came out on the 18th, and there's 31 days in March. So that's like, okay, so you got 13 days. Okay, 13 times 24. I got to know this.
All right, so
Math,
we'll
like-
check in with Dawson at the end of the show.
184 hours out of 312 in that time span.
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa.
There you go.
That's
I
insane.
They
know.
didn't sleep much.
That's a
That's
lot.
Yeah. Hope they got
No.
paid.
And
That's-
in those hours, did they ever stop to tweet restore the Snyderverse?
Yeah.
That's the
I'm
first question.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, wow.
yeah,
They may have
Well, yeah,
done.
while they were watching, yeah.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's
I'm around like 9 or 10 times, and I thought that was a lot. But
I know.
I'm at like 6. I was gonna watch it. Actually, I was gonna have it play while I slept last night, but I got too tired and I had to get up early. Because that's what I have done that a couple times. Like the total that I've actually sat down and watched it is 6.
Hey,
But the amount
Yeah.
that I've like played it on my phone and had it playing to the side is like
Yeah.
probably 9 or 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I play it
So-
like doing work. I'll just go to my computer.
Oh, I see what you're asking.
wow.
Probably on the apocalypse somewhere, right?
Darkseid, where's my daughter? Yeah, we'll say apocalypse.
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
I haven't heard from her for a while. Come home. Daddy misses you.
Oh, yeah.
It should be like Liam Neeson and Taken. Like I have a certain set of.
I have a certain set of skills.
Yeah.
We're going to do this the old way.
I've turned 100,000 worlds to dust.
So I am curious, Ray. I know we're gonna try to not talk like over talk the whole like Darkseid thing too much, but I was curious watching the movie, and I know when Ray Fisher watched and did a live Instagram like reaction, he mentioned there were some scenes that he had forgotten they had even shot because it was so long ago. Was there any scene for you that maybe you forgot that you had shot?
There were a couple of things that surprised me. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. That's in there. There was some additional dialogue that I did right here in my studio recently, obviously before the movie came out.
Right.
And I realized at one point that there's one scene where there's literally 5 years between one sentence and the other.
Wow.
On one of my lines, because I did a re-record with some additional stuff. So it was 5 years between the end of this sentence and the beginning of the other. So that was kind of cool to see.
That's interesting.
And I had forgotten about my cameo because I did that before I was cast as Darkseid.
Yeah.
So so I had all these people, when that came up on Twitter, and people were like, "Is this you?" I was like, "Yeah, I forgot, but yeah, it is."
So
Yeah.
when you first
That's
were
really
approached
cool.
or approached the project, you wanted to be a part of, or you were going out for that sort of like a history lesson sequence or whatever.
No,
and then from there you cultivated a relationship with Zack, and then he said,
"No,
"Oh, hey,
it was kind
like your
of
voice."
no." It was well before that.
Okay.
I had gotten to know Zack and Debbie during Batman versus Superman. At the time, I was married to someone who was working on the project.
Okay.
And then we all went over to England for Justice League. And Zack found out. I mean, we knew each other, but socially. But he found out that I do a lot of audiobooks and a lot of voice work and stuff like that. And he really likes to hear a script rather than just sit and read it. He likes to hear how it flows. And so he got me and several other actors, a lot of expats, a lot of American actors living in England, to come in and just read through the script so he could hear it, so he and Chris could listen to it. And I did that, and I also did a full read through with him, just kind of on my own, going through, reading everything out loud. And then there was basically one day where he went, "Hey, can you do a voice for this guy?" And I sort of knew what Darkseid looked like based on the picture that was actually put out yesterday from way back. The VFX guy who said, this was my initial drawing of Darkseid. That was the concept art that I had seen.
Yeah.
And looking at him, and I was like, well, okay, I think he probably sounds like this. And I did it, and he was like, okay, cool. And I didn't hear anything about it, and figured, okay, it wasn't an audition at all.
Right.
Hi, here's my picture. Here's my resume. Hello. line. Thank you.
Came in for voice work.
You want the door open or closed? Yeah. So, and then sometime later, I was told, it's like, you're playing Darkseid. I was like, okay. Okay.
No complaints here.
Yeah.
All right. Then. And I want to let you. Yes.
So, I guess growing up, was there an actor that sort of inspired you when you were younger that you sort of like looked up to or wanted to emulate?
There's a lot of there's actors now that I want to be like when I grow up. Anthony Hopkins was always a big one for me. Gary Oldman, David Strathairn. God, there's a long list of actors that I really admire. That's a crowd of people,
Yeah.
what I like to look up to,
Plus, when you have that many people to look up to, it gives you a variety of places to go for like inspiration and think like different roles. Like all those actors have done different things, and
no, very much so,
yeah.
Very much so. And I think I always gravitated toward the kind of actor that you really can never really smell them acting. It's just real. They're just telling the truth, whatever that truth is in that moment. And I admire that kind of work. Then it becomes more about story. And it becomes more about conveying what the writer or what the director is trying to tell the audience. So I always prefer that sort of. There's an economy of style. You know what I mean? They're not like the most noticeable necessarily. Certainly noticeable in several of their films, but it's a real sort of working actor kind of attitude about doing the work. So it's part of why I admire Kieran so much. If you guys haven't seen other films of Kieran's,
right,
you must. I mean, he's a brilliant actor.
Lance Raider.
So good. So good.
Well, yes, but also, I mean, the Terror. He was brilliant on the Terror. He did a film. He played the lead in a film years ago called Eclipse. That's just fantastic. His performance in it is incredible.
Yeah.
So I admire actors who are about the craft. So that's a long list of people.
Well,
Gotcha.
There you go. So Andy R asks, was JL shot right after BVS or back to back? I know that a lot of the cast, like Ray Fisher, said that he had shot a lot of the stuff during BVS that was for Justice League. Sort of like there wasn't really a timeline that they were working from. They were just like setting up shots and
it was known that Justice League was going to be the next thing, in the pipe. And so I think there was some aspects of the team, the crew, and all of that stuff that just kind of continued right on through. There was others where it was a little bit of a pause, and then they hit work again. And I mean, I remember when we were over there, the idea was like, well, we're just going to stay over here in England because JL2, and then what happened, and it was all very different.
Yeah.
So
I guess I'll ask Dave first, because I know that all of us have you spoken with Ray before, Dave?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I give you the floor, and if there's anything that you wanted to ask Ray, Darkseid, or anything like that, if you had any burning questions,
many people know me as Ray Porter. I'll skip it.
Many people know as Ray Fight.
Yeah.
You'll never live that down.
That's gonna haunt you, dude. You need a T-shirt that says that.
Right.
I'm gonna make a clip, and I'm gonna like a clown makeup.
If
over
you
top
would
of them
wear
every
that
time.
shirt today when you went to get your vaccination, everyone would
Many
have known.
people know me as
Aha!
very cool. They'd be like, do you have a form of ID? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It's on my shirt.
Yeah. It's like asking the Queen of England if she has some ID and she gives you a 20, you know. Yeah, it's you. Okay.
Yeah.
Change.
Oh my gosh.
That was
No, I mean,
that
I
was my
think the
queen.
main thing is, well, first I wanted to say how, like, there's one scene in particular, like your voice, I swear it was more deeper than the rest of the movie. It's at the end of the movie when you're talking to Darkseid and you say "Rid of the Armada," and I had it blasting on my TV at the time, and like it made the floor of my apartment like vibrate when you said
Nice.
But
People underneath are like, "What the hell is
is there anything physically you do like with your voice to warm up before you do?
You know, a little bit. I mean, I've been doing this for a while. I kind of came up right after college. I was doing Shakespeare in an outdoor theater, 1,200 seats. We had rain and forest fires and lightning and hail and all sorts.
all in one night?
And all in one act. No,
That's amazing. And you only have 1,200 people watching?
Yeah, and varying temperatures and stuff like that. But we were at a repertory theater called the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, and so it was these constantly, different plays every night. And you would do, I forget how many performances in the outdoor theater, but it was a lot. And there were, two big burdens on you because nobody was using mics, nobody was using body mics or anything. I felt that the most important thing was that the guy who was sitting in row Z got the same performance as the guy sitting in row A. He paid the same amount of money he deserves to be able to hear everything. And so there was that sort of aspect to it. And also for character things or for like screaming or, whatever, I'm going to do it, but I got to do it in such a way that I don't blow my voice out. You don't want to do something that sounds great once, because you have to sustain it. Otherwise, it affects the audience member getting value for the money they paid. So I always thought that was really important. So vocally, I always kind of knew what the limits were, where I could go vocally. And it's really interesting because the Darkseid voice, I've never really done a voice like that for anything. I'm talking about the way it feels and the musculature of doing it. Yeah, I've never really done anything like that, but it was there and it was like, okay, cool. Then I'll do this. And so I did it and Zack seemed to like it. And so that's Darkseid's voice, so it's really just, I'm not really on my throat. I've heard some really lovely people online doing, lines of Darkseid, and they're doing this vocal thing like, the Claw from Inspector Gadget, where
Frank Welker, he's an amazing.
really on their throat,
Yeah. He sounds like a frog.
Don't try to do. I mean, first of all, I've worked with Frank Welker. Don't ever try to do what Frank Welker does. Frank Welker is friggin' Gandalf. All right,
Yeah.
He is. The sounds he's capable of making, I'd like to be him when I grow up.
He's the reason why I love Transformers the way I do.
Right. I mean, and he's done everything. I did an episode of Curious George, and Frank Welker is Curious George.
Wow.
And that's not an effect. There's no effects on that voice. That's what he does. And, and he's constantly like, just sitting with him in rehearsal, like I was hearing these sounds and I looked over and he was like, sorry, I'm just, working. And what he's doing is flexing the muscle. He's trying different sounds out, brilliant voice actor. So it was just a thing of like, can I do this? Is it sustainable? And is it right for the scene? Does it convey what's going on? To me, that's what Darkseid sounded like. Zack seemed to agree. And did I do lines for Uxas? I did not do lines, but all of those battle sounds are me. All of the grunts and the, all of that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the breathing. Pretty much any sounds Darkseid makes or Uxas makes, that's me.
That's awesome. I was thinking that as I was watching the first time. Like, I wonder if he like made these like grunts and noises and stuff. That's really cool to hear. That's really awesome.
Yeah, there was a session. I mean, it basically was three different times when I was working on it. The first was I came in and met Kieran early on wearing the black lycra mocap suit, which is the black suit with the little reflective balls on it, so that the computer picks up your movements.
Right.
Yeah,
so I did the well, no, I wore that later. Later for
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. This is literally just a black bodysuit, and then you have these little reflective balls that are attached to it, and lights project on it, and the computer picks it up. So it's so walking looks natural, moves look natural, that kind of thing. They do it a lot for video games as well. In fact, I read a story where the dog in Red Dead Redemption 2, they had two dogs that they did mocap on. So they made mocap suits for the dogs. But the ball on the tail would constantly fly off because the dogs were so happy to be around everybody. They were wagging. And so they were constantly having to fix the dog's mocap suits. And same thing happened to me. I was so happy to be there. I just kept, balls just kept flying off him. No.
He's like, we can't get ready to stop wagging his tail.
So I did exactly. So I did the jump, what I refer to as UXAS, first to baggage claim. I jumped out of the thing, and the scooping up the earth and then swinging that axe, and screaming and all of that. And then the bulk of the mocap stuff was done by Richard Citrone, who also did most of Steppenwolf's like fight things and things like that.
Right.
So there was that. Then I had a vocal session in London, and it was it was lines, but it was also all of that battle stuff. So it was literally, directions like, okay, you just got hit with an axe in the shoulder. Okay, you just got kicked in the stomach. Okay, these arrows are driving you back. Okay, and I was just doing sounds.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reza. That's very kind. And then Peter and Kieran and I.
What up, Joey?
We got back together. Hello, Joey. And that's when we were wearing the suit that you just showed a second ago. And we were wearing headgear with two little cameras and a very bright light, and it was just for our faces, so that they could isolate our facial expressions, our mouth movements, our eyes, as we're acting the scene. So that's why while it's VFX, they're all pretty expressive, and if you really look, they kind of look like us a little. You
can see it.
Yeah. So it was that was that. And then later I recorded some more lines for Darkseid just here. And I was recording my face on my iPhone as I was recording the lines.
Oh, nice.
Now in recording your lines, was there any
Zack, when you're talking about Chris Terrio, I don't think they need my help. I wanting to improve on that seems silly to me. But at the same time, they're completely open to play. I mean, Zack was like,
right,
look, if you can think of anything else or any other way to express this, just do it. And we'll, so you do a bunch of different takes with different choices,
inflections,
and reads, and different words in some cases, just try something else, try a way that, feels right to you. And he chooses what is best for it. And there you go. So no, there wasn't a great deal of like, I think Darkseid would say this in this moment. It's like,
he's like, oh, Steppenwolf, homie, don't play that.
Yeah,
homie, don't.
Exactly. So, I never really. There wasn't a great deal of ad-libbing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what, Ray? What is your favorite movie that you haven't been in? Like growing up, what was like a movie that you? My favorite
movie, I still watch it all the time, is a movie called Local Hero. It was made back in the 80s. Peter Riegert, Burt Lancaster, bunch of Scottish actors. It's just a really cool little film, just a great story. I just love it. And then obviously, I always loved the big blockbuster stuff, especially when I was doing Shakespeare, because you spend all day, doing this stuff that's like a journey through the human psyche and journey through the human heart, and all of this like really intense mental rigor, to do it. And I mean, obviously physically too, battles, sword fights, all that stuff. Yeah. But at the end of the week, I wanted to go watch a bunch of shit blow up.
Just kind of throw some diversity in there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, no, I want to see VFX to the hilt. I want to see lasers, show me this cool stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of films that I really liked, from that time, a bunch of like action, sci-fi, horror. I mean, I could probably pick something from every genre, but my absolute go-to favorite is Local Hero.
Okay.
Director is a guy named Bill Forsyth. Wonderful movie. So
okay, I'll check that out. And
Dude,
I also had a question for you. So after looking through like all things you've been able to be featured in, both I guess just with voice acting and everything, I mean, your thing goes back, or I guess your IMDb goes all the way back to the early 90s of voice acting. I'm curious as to, do you recall the moment that you first thought to yourself, maybe I could do this voice acting stuff? Like, do you recall that moment? Was that just like kind of a thing that just kind of fell in your lap, or was it something that
and did you use the term voice acting stuff?
Yes, I like voice acting. Actually,
at least it's not bad as him as Ray Porter.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's on my tax form right under, that part on your tax form where it says your name or how many people know you.
You always put the numbers. Come on now.
Yeah,
everybody knows
that's
that.
right. So, no, voice acting is acting, and so you see a lot of people who come from theater and from other various media also doing voice acting. I mean, I started out stage, and then it started branching out into like TV and film and that kind of thing. A fair amount of like voiceover stuff. Sell cars in Grants Pass, Oregon, that kind of thing. Different ads. I actually got to do a monster truck ad for a county fair one time.
That's awesome.
So I was really proud. I actually got to do the like Sunday. That
Nice.
like, yeah. So
now I'm just thinking of Night at the Museum now.
Yeah, exactly. So he did a lot of that stuff as well. And then, and voice acting is great because, especially, in the circumstances like we've had for the last year, you're able to generate the work on your own. You're able to have sessions online, or that
Work
kind
at
of
home.
thing. Yeah. I mean, there's no substitute for being with a group of actors and a director and a producer and all creating together. When I did Sandman in England, that was a great thing about that because I'm in the room with a bunch of incredibly talented actors and a great producer, Dirk Maggs, and Neil Gaiman is there. And we're reading this brilliant script and we're recording.
Yeah.
Why do I think apocalyptians are afraid of the Kryptonian? Is their history? I think, like any decent warrior, they recognize who is the biggest potential threat.
Game recognized game
on any world. Game recognizes game, I think, is a good way to put it. Yes. But yeah, I do think that's why they would be a bit reticent. And that's, one of the first things, Steppenwolf, I kind of think Steppenwolf was sent there first for that reason, where Steppenwolf is like, no protectors, no Kryptonians, no lanterns, nothing like that. It's like, okay, cool. He found, but in the, it'd be like, oh, did you hear about Steppenwolf? Yeah, there were some lanterns on the planet. They kicked his. Oh, what a shame! Wow.
It's like Emperor Palpatine. Excellent.
Like two things with that. Two things that are interesting. I actually just with what you're saying started thinking of the Man of Steel watch party Zack did, where he talked about the destroyed moon on Krypton. How he talked about how that was destroyed by the original Doomsday. Yes. And it's interesting because, like in BVS, they talked about how never again will anyone give life to a deformity, basically, like they had done it before. Yeah. And why would they do that? They would do it to defend themselves, I think. They're like last-ditch effort. And so that's why I think maybe the Apocalyptians know Kryptonians and how, I guess, menacing they can be is because of that. And another thing you mentioned, Steppenwolf being sent. I was thinking about that today because when the Unity forms and when the boxes synchronize, it scorches the earth, right? And we see that the explosion, of course, torches Superman, torches Cyborg. What does it do to Steppenwolf? Like, was he just sent there to like be a guy who just simply laid his life on the line? But he has that
armor, right? That kind of like, and I would think that it would sort of protect him from.
That's fair, but Superman,
he's from that kind of world, right? So he's kind of used to it, right?
But look what Superman was able to do to his armor. So you don't think a blast like that would also, I mean,
I think
But I
Doomsday
mean,
was just
in the
like,
nightmare
you're going to
world-
die there, but he didn't know.
But you also,
I mean,
you notice
not
that
everybody dies, though.
the mother boxes are handled real differently by Steppenwolf than they are by Uxas in the very first battle sequence.
Yeah.
Uxas has got like 3 different craft with, a choir coming
Mhm.
down, in their robes with
Yeah.
these boxes, and they're like all this massive amount of people, and instead it's like, hey, pointy guy, go down there and shove these things into some metal and let's see what happens.
Right.
Sort of thing. It's a real different deal.
True.
I think part of it has to do with the fact that he's not around the mother boxes anymore, and so he doesn't have that GPS.
Yeah, because they went silent. They slept.
They went
to
silent.
sleep.
Exactly. And in fact, the one mother box was awakened by Superman's death screams,
Right.
being a signal that the last Kryptonian is gone. And I
Yeah.
think that the
Yeah.
Kryptonians were the only ones who could ever give a solid fight.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't conquer 100,000 worlds by being a dummy and just getting lucky. There's
True.
clear strategy involved. Now, I do not claim to know all of the mythology. I'm sure there may be some people watching right now who are like, "No, you idiot! In volume 5, it says this."
How dare you,
I will-
impudent!
I will I will defer to your wisdom on that. The mythology of this and all of the storylines are vast and many and arrayed and intertwined, and it's a huge.
Yeah.
I got to say, I mean, for people that grew up with this, where they gained this knowledge in installments, is wonderful, and I respect their knowledge. I respect their acumen.
Yeah.
For me, as an actor who was cast in the role, and then suddenly I'm asked questions that are really like for scholars, it's a little intimidating for me to
when he was a baby.
yeah. I mean, it's a little intimidating for me to be like, well, I think it's because this. I just got to the point now where I'm like, ask Scott McClellan.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was on the.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Go to
Talked
him.
to him yesterday.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty awesome.
Um,
But we did find this.
There he is.
There I am.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
Look at those bracers. I mean, and
I know.
your what are those gauntlets? And
Yeah.
man, I mean, it looks like that's some pretty heavy duty stuff right there.
very
You're a
Man.
blacksmith.
I am
The
a
black-
blacksmith, man. Yeah. It's
Well,
like
what I always thought was
making
awesome
another box.
is Ray Porter, as everybody knows him normally, is hiding the mother box from himself, from Darkseid. He's encasing it and hiding it from himself.
Yes,
He's like,
I
"You
am.
won't find this." Ha ha.
Yeah,
Wow,
exactly.
where did I put that?
No, I'll take care of this for you. No problem. And while we're at it, guys, don't bury it too deep.
I told my husband that. I was like, they barely dug a hole.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean,
I require
It's so
coaxial
shallow.
cable at least 6 inches under, and
Yeah.
same for the mother box.
no, exactly. It's like no, I've seen house cats dig deeper holes in a litter box than men did to hide the mother box.
They did it the most. They had the most primitive method
Yeah, yeah.
compared to like the Amazons.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. They
Atlanteans.
all
Well, yeah. I mean,
and he's like, "Just put it over there, and no one will know."
oh yeah, the Atlanteans have this like massive temple built, this whole thing with this ceremony, and Vero like builds this incredible, amazing place to shelter it and everything, and men are like, dig a hole.
And
Yeah.
they treated
a hole.
they treated the mother box like Luke Skywalker throwing the saber. He's like,
Kind of.
"We don't care.
Kind
He's
of.
never coming back here."
Okay.
right?
Well,
I will say maybe the only part of the Justice League that I liked kind of maybe explains it a little bit.
Wait. Truth be told,
No, I
this guy
don't.
loves the Justice League.
Nickatina does. I
Yes,
don't.
Nickatina.
But I will say the one part that I did think made sense was when they had their version of History Lesson, which of course is very much trodden down and not as great. But they said when men buried the box, they buried it in the middle of nowhere, so nobody would be tempted to use
Yeah.
it. Which even if they tried to, they wouldn't know how really.
look, all
But-
joking aside, and there's, I mean, I'm as irreverent as anybody, so I'll look for the punchline in just about anything, including stuff I'm in. But, I mean, it is pretty much, you can take it as read in this version that it is in the middle of nowhere, that they would be digging
Right,
where
exactly.
they're
Yeah,
digging
yeah.
for a reason.
exactly.
They're putting it someplace,
I
so
would
there's
have loved for all those guys to
behind
have
it.
died. so like nobody knows where the location is. You know, like nobody can leave breadcrumbs. You know, just like
Yeah. Could you never go into politics? I think that'd be.
He's like, I would love if these people just died. I would love that.
I think it'd be cool. Yeah, it's like I really don't want to be like your storage guy.
Ray's like,
You're in unit 13.
Not how the Force works.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, but you're right. There's a weird sort of overlapping there where I'm supervising the fashioning of the case for the mother box, and then I come back through molten metal. I might add a blacksmith's medium. As yes,
yeah, that's
You know,
a pretty awesome
I can
parallel.
guarantee you, I didn't know anything about that. Maybe Zack did, but I didn't. You know, I did that. I did that sequence, and then sometime later, I was given the role that I play in the movie. So
That's awesome.
but it is kind of ironic the way it all comes together.
Yeah. I noticed that first viewing when I saw you, and I was like, "Whoa, he's the blacksmith." He encased the box that he had before, but now he's looking for, and it's pretty funny.
I know, and the really funny thing about ironic is that the
Like
word
one of those Back
iron
to the
is in
Future
it.
moments.
Yes.
No. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Hey, not to interrupt.
Oh, sorry.
Please do.
Our very favorite director just shared something pretty fabulously fire.
And pretty relative to the situation, actually.
Yeah, very relative to the situation.
Just now?
Just now. I just shared it. I just shared it to you, Brian. Put it up there.
Did it? Okay. Let me.
Oh, focus.
Yeah, I'm
I just-
sorry. I'm in the middle of talking to Ray. Hold on. Oh,
Hold on.
this.
Now we all dive for our phones.
You talking about?
It
you
is.
posted
I
Granny?
shared the screen. I
Yeah.
shared the screen.
Oh, hold up. Oh, you shared the screen. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm in my Twitter. I'm so sorry. Okay, sorry.
Go
There
on,
you go.
Vero.
So there
Here we
is
go.
Granny Goodness.
Oh, Granny. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's
There she
awesome.
is.
That
Yeah,
is
and
awesome.
Dude.
says
Look
thank
at
you,
the
JoJo,
armor.
for the design.
Oh, that looks
Yeah.
so dope.
Look
There
at
we
the
go.
armor.
There's
dude.
a
So cool.
closer picture. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's pretty
mean-
dope. And this, from what I've heard, is this was a friend of the family that was a stand-in.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, she certainly wasn't. She wasn't around when we were shooting our stuff. But Zack had
Mhm.
told me, you know, he was describing visually the way things were going to be, and he was like, you know, and you turn around and head back to your throne, and Granny Goodness. I was like, what? She's there too. Cool.
You know, you mentioned that. That's something that's very interesting that I've been like thinking a lot about lately. Is like a lot of people fail to understand that when you're directing a movie, you're not just like positioning a bunch of people in a room and then just clicking record on a camera. A lot of times, like you're saying, with, you know, either in a studio or like off in a different location, you have to film people in different places and put them like they're in the same room. Which is so interesting, and it shows how much more complex it really is, and how much more planning and how much more attention to detail you have to have. Which, I mean, just blows my mind.
You have to see everything from start to finish. You know, it's why there's things like storyboards. You know, and it's why the thing, you know, with Zack, where he draws out everything. He draws it, and if he draws it, he shoots it. So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, the fact that he is able to see so sort of encyclopedically over the entire thing, you feel, you know what, Angel, I have no idea why I'm not verified on Twitter yet. I've asked, and the doors are closed to me. What is the meaning of life? 42.
42. That's always the answer.
Yeah.
Hey Ryan, maybe it'd be a good idea to show Ray and not have him be behind the comments. That wouldn't be the worst idea in the world.
It's like there's speech bubbles coming out of me as I'm talking. Like, position me like that again, and I'll start doing different voices for the comments. No, I don't want to offend anyone. I don't sound like that. But anyway, to be able to see everything from start to finish and all of that, I mean, which you kind of have to have when you're talking about you're in front of, a 60-foot by 60-foot green screen, and there's a box and there's a stick and, whatever. And you're having to tell the actors, okay, here's this, look at this object, because now you're looking down the boom tube. There was a sequence where Zack was rolling a volleyball at me to stop with my feet up Neil's head. Yeah. And I mean, he sees all of it, and it's all by design. And you feel incredibly safe as an actor on a set where someone is that much in control. And he's so much in control that he can allow for a great deal of fluidity. Like, oh, wow, let's do that. Okay. He's open to stuff. He's open to letting me play, but he's absolutely, he knows what's going on. So yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, God, I can barely manage, I can't find my keys. So
I feel that they always go on a hook by my door and I can never find them for some reason, just what it is. Because hope is like your car keys, right?
Wow.
No, on a serious note, though, I'm kind of curious, talking about directors, of course, besides working with Zack, has there ever been, I guess, what's the favorite moment you have had while shooting a film, whether it be like a scene that just felt like that was it, like that was perfect? Like, is there a moment that stands out to you like that? Or is it just like, are there moments like that in every single thing that you do?
There's, I decided a long time ago to never become jaded or to become like, oh yeah, I'm an actor, Hollywood. It's like, are you kidding me? This is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to have fun with it. I want to enjoy every second of it. So I've found something in everything that I've done that's been really, really fun. I did Sons of Anarchy, and somebody asked me how it was, and I was like, I got to hang around Harleys and shoot guns all day. How do you think? And they paid me. How do you think they went?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
It's one of my dad's favorite shows, by the way. So great show.
Why does Darkseid wear the same armor for thousands of years? The dry cleaning on Apocalypse is
expensive.
Yeah,
but it's worth it.
Oh, dude. So, and that's just the Darkseid activewear for turning 100,000 worlds to dust.
Activewear, okay.
It's the armor you earn after getting so many points.
That's right. Yeah, you notice he shows back up to Earth with a nice thick shirt on after that axe cut in the shoulder the first time. Like, yeah, ain't gonna happen again.
He does.
Sorry, go ahead, Ray.
No, please.
Speaking of that, I liked how the one of the little, what was it? Was it IGN who shared when all the there was how they meant the visual effects people were talking about how there's a scar that travels throughout the movie, and when you see it kind of up close under the armor, you get a glimpse of it. And I was like, that's so cool that even though he has armor on now, we pretty much see him armored up. He has a scar under there.
Gotta love Weta. Gotta love Weta.
The detail is
Yeah, unbelievable. Those artists are astonishing on both sides. Weta Digital and the Weta Workshop. Have you guys seen?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's insane. If I were a richer man, I would have all of those right now.
Right.
They're pretty. Yeah, they're pretty insane.
Crazy.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know where the hell we were. Favorite moments in film.
From the Lion King.
No. Yeah, Scar from 19. Well, let's see. There's, I remember little moments from different things that I did. I mean, doing Argo was really, really fun, and meeting John Goodman and that kind of stuff. Pretty much every day on Almost Famous was one of those I'm going to cherish this for the rest of my life kind of thing. There's a lot of little moments, little personal moments. There's certainly moments in a film where you're like, wow, that's, that really worked well. I think, because you don't see the final product until much later. You have control over what you have control of, but there's editors, there's VFX, there's, what the director is seeing, that kind of thing. But, when a moment works, it just kind of does. Yeah. But I have managed to have a really, really good time on pretty much everything I've done. One of the bright spots for me on this one was when we were doing the face cap stuff. There was some solo stuff on me, so I'm on my own. Saying a bunch of these lines, and I finished the sequence, and Peter and Kieran came running over and were like patting me on the shoulder and like, that was great job. I admire those guys so much that to have that just meant the world.
And you're like, no one touches Euxis.
Get your hands off me. No, I didn't know that. I didn't do that.
Unhand me, you swine!
Yeah. I did the Runaways. I did the Runaways, and somebody was like, the director's like, okay, right about now, can you try to flip that cigarette into Kristen's face? And I was like, sure. And I did several takes of it. And there was one that was really satisfying because the filter caught her like audibly on the forehead. It was like, pah! You could hear it. And I was like, it's one of the greatest days of my life. I'm flipping a cigarette at a woman's face 56 times, and they pay me. Very silly job. Very silly job.
No. She likes it. She, do it again.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. I mean,
we weren't rolling. We weren't rolling. Do it again.
No, and she's a champ. I mean, she's playing the scene, right? So it was great. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Almost Famous was great. I made hot tea for 2 days on a bus going back and forth up and down the same road outside of Sacramento while we sang Tiny Dancer.
My favorite part of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, man.
That's hilarious.
So I have a question from Steve.
Yes.
What is a film, any film in any era that you wish that you were a part of?
There's a movie from the 80s called Mate One. I really wish that I had been in. It's a brilliant film about the West Virginia coal mine wars that happened in the 20s. I would have loved to have been a part of that.
Was that a role that you were vying for?
No. It was just a movie. I was like, God, I wish I was in that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you're talking about stuff that like I auditioned for and didn't get, or what I would have liked to have been in, there's a pretty long list. I mean, there's tons of stuff I wish I could do. I'd kill to be. Well,
James Bond even just wanted to be a stormtrooper. I mean, seriously.
Yes.
So I know there's bias, but you as Darkseid or James Earl Jones as Darth Vader, who is the character that you feel is more of a threat to their galaxies?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna go James Earl Jones. I mean, come on. Jesus, that's Darth Vader, and he's somebody's father.
Yeah.
Oh God, too soon? Did I just do a spoiler? There's some 7-year-old somewhere going, no. It's impossible. No, I'm always going to defer to like James Earl Jones and and all of that. I really like that people are. I'm extremely touched, and I'm very honored that people are happy with what I did as Darkseid.
Oh.
And I've gotten very, very kind notes from people, talking about being scary and and all of that. And it's immensely gratifying to me to know that I did the job as best I could and that it worked, and that it fits in the world. So it's very satisfying. But if you're going to start, comparing me to other actors, I'm always going to go like, "Are you kidding me, James Earl Jones?" Please, So yeah, and obviously the invariable Thanos debate comes up, and I'm like, we can talk theoretically about Darkseid and Thanos all you want. If you want to pit me against Josh Brolin, he will kick my ass. I'm not going to say anything bad about him.
Did you see him in Goonies? I mean, he was working out.
Dude. Yeah. And he also had a magic glove, didn't he? No. So yeah, I don't like to do that. I mean, I have so much admiration for so many people that are in the same line of work that I am. Right. And I've always been very much about the fact that, just because you acknowledge the greatness of another actor does not mean you're instantly struck talentless. And in point of fact, we all get better and rise together if we can acknowledge and respect each other. So there's tons of, I mean, there's people who've gotten roles that I wanted, and it's like, nah, good. I'm glad he got it. That's great. So I've never been one of those people that, I don't like that. I mean, if you want to find actors I don't like and don't have a lot of respect for, it's people who do that sort of thing. Measure themselves by how much they can diss somebody else or whatever. It's
sure.
Right.
Get over it. Get over it.
So-
It's
Once
a,
you have that positive attitude, like it just helps you going forward, like continue to go out and go for roles and such. Like it just fills you the better attitude about everything. It just makes you feel better about everything around you. You know, that's why it's always best to approach everything with a positive attitude.
well, there's enough negative in this line of work.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and especially
Exactly.
you know having been at it for as long as I have.
Ready, Shay?
Well, I remember Mr. Edison invited me to his trailer, and Charles Chaplin was there. No, that's when I was introduced to roofies. Anyway, there's
When you
enough negative.
use rupees, do you get the singles?
If you use, yeah, nice one. But, you know, there's enough negative about
Right.
this life, man. I mean, you know, there's a lot of challenges. There's plenty of times where, like, as an adult, you know, you're like, gosh, I hope I get the next job and, you know, can afford to keep a roof over my head. And boy, I sure hope somebody will let me wear clothes that aren't mine and say words I didn't think up. What we do. Please, somebody let me pretend. It's hard enough just to get anything going to sustain yourself. I mean, and even, you know, consider this. I've been at this. I've been on the game since the 80s, right? I've been, you know, I studied this in college, was doing theater for so many years, TV, film, all that stuff, right? I've been around. Most people had no idea who I was before Darkseid. And for those people who aren't like real fans, they don't know who the hell I am. You know, I'm not a household name, right? But I still managed to put food on the table doing this. There's so many brilliant, amazing, talented people out there that you've never, ever heard of.
Right.
So, you know, my thing, I think it was only on, I read 2 comments on Reddit that made me sort of sad, right, when it came out that I was, you know, playing this role. Nobody ever that I encountered on Twitter or any place else on Vero, people were just like, hi, cool, you play Darkseid? Welcome, you're cool, whatever, it's fine. There were a couple of people on Reddit who were like, there's no way. No, it would be a real actor. I've never heard of this guy, you know. That was sad.
People.
Yeah, I've never had any good experiences on Reddit myself.
Well, no, I've had plenty. I think there's great parts about it, but you know, it's the internet. People speak their minds because they have the bravery of being out of range.
Yeah.
There are a lot of real actors out there, and I guarantee you haven't heard of 90% of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would just always say, always be open. If it's a name that you never heard before, give it a chance.
Yeah. If you have nothing like negative about them that you even know about at all or anything at all, right? I mean, why not give it a chance? Because obviously, if the casting director chose them, they chose them for a reason.
Sure.
You know, the casting director knows what they're doing.
Well, back in the day, if you hated something somebody did in a movie or you hated a certain movie or whatever, basically you'd tell your friends and it would never leave that circle of friends, right? Now, everybody's a film critic.
Oh yeah.
And so people will say the most awful things, and they're not thinking in terms of, wow, you know, there's a real person on the end of this, you know, that's going to hear it. So I don't know. I mean, things have changed a lot.
Yeah,
Sure.
A lot of people don't think outside themselves. You know?
No, most people don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, they don't learn boundaries. They don't learn, you know, I don't want to say respect, but they don't learn, you know, just reverence toward other people. You know, so
I don't ask reverence from anybody, but I do ask manners.
Manners, yes.
Right.
Manners and respect. Those are 2 key things.
Manners. If I show you respect, please afford me a little. And if nothing else, let's just be polite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which sounds really old-fashioned and weird. But that's how I choose to conduct myself. It's like,
amazing how that's old-fashioned.
Sounds simple.
yeah, right. I mean, you would think,
Yeah.
right? And most people, I don't know. Which is why, you know, I've sometimes gone on Twitter when people have been tagging me and shit, you know, like my conversation was like, no, you're wrong. Tag, like I'm going to come downstairs and be like, you kids be quiet. I don't want to know. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't whatever. All right. I certainly don't involve me in
Darkseid doesn't wear boxers or briefs. He goes
Exactly.
commando.
Right. It's a kilt. Get over it.
It's like,
My daughter's like, he's wearing a skirt.
It's a kilt. That's right.
it's not.
Hi, welcome to Apocalypse.
Yeah.
She's like,
Oh, lassie.
It's ridiculous.
Man, that was great.
It's ridiculous. And
Let's
then
show the
we're-
English, shall we?
and suddenly we're back around the circle. I have a very special set of skills.
Well,
Anyway,
I do
no,
have a fan question.
Yes, please.
This is from Max. He wants to know your top 5 cinematic villains are.
Top 5 cinematic villains: Darth Vader, Hannibal Lecter. Let's think. Top 5 cinematic villains. There's several.
I feel like he
Zod.
feels like we're timing him.
Zod, yeah.
Yeah, Zod for sure.
Oh, wait. Michael Shannon or Terrence Stamp?
Why not both?
Why not both? Both were good.
Why not both? Why not both?
Both were great. Gary Oldman in The Professional.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Man, I stole from him so hard. I was doing a Shakespeare play at the time, playing a character kind of like that, and I straight stole from him. And I got to tell him that. I was in a film with him years ago, and I said, we were talking about Shakespeare, and he was like, "What have you played?" And I mentioned this role. He goes, "Oh, that's a great one." I said, "Funny you should say that, because I totally stole from you in The Professional." And he was like, "Really?" Because when I was doing The Professional, Anthony Hopkins was doing a play at the National Theatre here in London, and I was going down to the theater and stealing from him. So it's this great chain of theft, you know.
Great actors to steal from that chain, though. That's awesome.
Yeah. There's quite a lot. I mean, I like villains, and I tend to play them a lot, which is fine because they're fun, you know.
Yeah.
And you can really mine some good stuff out of it. So there's quite a lot of villains I rather admire.
Yeah. And I had a quick question for you. So you mentioned Sons of Anarchy.
Yes.
One of the things that I love about that show is the soundtrack, especially the song "Come Join the Murder" by the White Buffalo. And
Right.
I know you're a lover of music, and yes, you like White Buffalo. I love that guy. He's an amazing musician. He does an amazing rendition of Highwayman, which of course originally done by Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson, all that. But as far as music goes, who are some of the musicians that you maybe listen to the most? I'm just curious.
Son House.
Okay.
SON House, who was a Delta blues musician from the 30s from Mississippi. He precedes Robert Johnson. They came up around the same time, but Son House is someone I really admire. Mississippi Fred McDowell, another Mississippi Delta blues player. This is going to be a long list. Strap in. I mean, we're only in the 30s, so strap in. Donny Hathaway. My God, what a singer! Marvin Gaye. A lot of the like 60s, 70s soul R&B people. It's just the best. So a lot of stuff in blues, a lot of stuff in like soul and R&B, including some modern stuff. I love Anthony Hamilton. If you don't know Anthony Hamilton, listen to him straight away. I actually was in a band in LA, and we were playing the same venue as Anthony Hamilton, and he went on before we did, just in the schedule. There was no like headlining hierarchy thing. It was just the schedule.
Well, what do you play? What do you play? What do you play in the band?
Oh, I'm a guitar player. I'm a guitar player.
Nice. Leader or rhythm?
A little of both here and there, you know.
Okay.
Anyway, but we were all backstage, you know, getting ready for our set, and they started playing, and I was like, you weren't really supposed to do this, but I was like, I gotta go. And I just went and watched the whole thing. Amazing. There's a big acoustic guitar guy as well. So there's a lot of like Richard Thompson, a lot of like Celtic musicians that I really like. I mean, Zeppelin, you know, it's a long list. There's a lot of influences. And I think there's always like, I can always think of like one band that's sort of perfect for everything for me.
Yeah.
in any given moment, you know, and it's just such fun. It's discovering new people and sharing that, and you know, it's a big part of my life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm a big fan of music. I've been playing it my whole life personally, and kind of like you're saying, there's a lot of variety in what you're listening to depending on the mood, and I think that's very key. Like I go through my Spotify, I go from like Willie Nelson to Johnny Cash to some Post Malone and some Breaking Benjamin or just like tons of different variety. So I always think it's interesting here.
I just think there's genius to be found in every generation and in every genre.
Yes.
There's going to be at least one or maybe several. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I can say with at least authority in my house, you know, you take Tupac against, you know, some like great from the 60s or whatever, and the man was a genius, you know. And I'm not a massive like hip hop rap guy, but there's really brilliant musicians in that genre, and I just like good music. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Super Hive. We had a good time, didn't we?
Thank you. We did, and then I felt bad because I was like, I had met before we did before we like really started getting into questions and stuff. In my head, I was like, I need to ask him how much time he has. And I totally forgot to ask you. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And then like 2 hours goes by, and I was like,
I mean, those are the best conversations.
They are the best conversations.
She was like, I'm going to put the clock down.
It's funny. I mean, when we started, your kids were like barely in school, and I watched one of them leave in his graduation robe. So it was a long ass conversation.
Oh my gosh, the funniest thing when we were saying goodbye. We were saying bye, and the kids are like over here getting ready for bed. And they're like, we're like, say bye. And they're like, bye, Zach.
I'll pass the message along.
Yeah.
We didn't say. We're just like, look, that this. He does the voice for Darkseid and blah blah blah. I mean, we hadn't seen the movie at that time yet, but like we had seen trailers and everything.
Yeah.
And my daughter is like dark, so she's like, oh, thank you guys, I appreciate it. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Very fun.
She's always asking if the movie's playing or something. She's like, I want to see the part when Darkseid lands on the earth and he picks up the dirt. And so she really likes that. She really likes that.
Has she done that yet? Has she like jumped off a slide and picked up the dirt and done all that?
Not yet, but she probably will. But I've heard her out in the backyard. We have no fear. I've heard her playing in the back.
That's good. I love that.
Nice. She loves that part.
Somebody posted the other day that their
show
4-year-old
mom
daughter,
your fear.
We have no fear. They're gonna use it against us.
Exactly.
You will do your chores.
Someone was telling me their 4-year-old daughter was like being Darkseid and like slamming her little shovel into the ground and like doing all that. And I was like, that's so cool. Be sure to tell her Darkseid is really nice to animals and to his family.
Well, she figured that the box was buried very shallow in the dirt. That's why she had a shovel. She was like, it's easy to find. We're gonna get it.
That's right.
Yeah, good old fashioned metal detector. You'll find that mother box real quick.
Damn straight.
I often wondered, and you were on the set, and you maybe access to it. Who was the leader of the men, or mankind, or whatever? Who was the leader with like the horns and whatever?
Oh, the king.
We know who the Atlanteans and the Mysterians.
Yeah, it's lost to the mist.
He looked like the guy from This Is Spinal Tap. The bassist.
I know. I mean, that actor has such a great face. I don't know. I mean, it could be Arthur. It could be one of the early Merovingians. It could be anything. I don't remember. I'll have to ask someone.
I've seen that question come up.
Probably knows in the chat.
I've seen that question come up.
Yeah. And also, if so, where did he go? Because the Atlanteans are still around, and whatever happened.
Eventually he died, and then was passed on to the next generation.
And he was like, the box is buried.
Give me the pointy hat. I will wear the pointy hat. Yeah. I don't know.
Also, another question that has come up. I'm not saying you know the answer to this, but if any of you guys, if anyone here has any ideas, I know the question has been coming up about like, since Steppenwolf didn't have the mother boxes on other Earths that he was conquering, was he just invading with the parademons and they conquered those Earths, or like?
I mean, as far as I know, and I think Zach gave a really, really brilliant explanation about, like, because someone was like, plot hole, how come, Darkseid comes back, mother boxes. And Zach gave a really great explanation, far better than I possibly could. But I also read another thing where, they compared the mother boxes as essentially a GPS. Yeah. And the only way he would know where the anti-life equation was if he had the mother boxes and he left this planet without his GPS. And you're talking about someone who's a god who spans multiple universes, traveling from world to world. I mean, it's an easy thing, So in that scene, when I show up and it's like, wait, can it be possible you found the anti-life? What?
Yeah, because I remember. I mean, I noticed that Diana says that, like the world, it faded from view, and it became anonymous amongst a trillion worlds. So, but on the other Earths or the other worlds that Steppenwolf was trying to conquer to pay back his debt to Darkseid, since he didn't have mother boxes on those worlds, was he just? I mean, do you have? If there's anything behind like how he conquered those worlds, was it just like with the parademon?
Well, what I'm thinking is like, from what I understand, Darkseid say you still have 50,000 more worlds to pay your debt. But they never really specify if he had been conquering worlds before he got to Earth. Like,
I guess that's true.
Because, like, was he just in a void somewhere that he was banished to, and then he was called to Earth, and that was the first one he was going to conquer?
But then why would he say this world will fall like all the others?
Like all the others.
Maybe he was referring to the ones Darkseid took. Maybe,
possibly.
I mean, that's.
But I kind of got the sense that he had been.
And I can see that too. I
could see him consigned to the void of space. Go out and conquer X amount of worlds, and maybe we'll let you come back. This is your penance. Go and do this.
Right. When Darkseid was telling him, you have 50 more, it was like, obviously it's implied that he's done at least one before. I mean, this could be the first one. He's like, Darkseid, I just got here and I found the mother boxes. Is it cool if I come back?
Yeah, I don't know that I think that this has been done before. I think that the whole, the boom tubes and coming down with the parademons. I mean, the parademons precede Steppenwolf, and he shows up and just looks around and assesses the room and is like, okay, something easy conquer. This is something they've been doing for a while.
Yeah. Because he said, and his literal words when he drops into Themyscira, he's like, defenders.
They always fail.
Yeah, they always fail.
Right. Well, it could be. I mean, obviously he's done it before. He's been a conqueror of many worlds alongside Steppenwolf and the Apocalyptic forces. I don't know. I'm just trying to think, like, because the whole boom tube thing, right? Because otherwise, how would he just like ride, like being held by a parademon to other worlds? Like, how would he transport to other worlds without the boom tubes with mother box? That's from
actually, that was in a deleted scene. That's actually done through Uber.
That makes more sense now.
Yeah,
that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, no,
it's Uber.
It's Uber X basically, and he shares it with 500 parademons. It's a lot cheaper that way. He also got a Groupon.
Yes. Okay.
Expensive.
Well, I guess we also don't know if there were mother boxes on other worlds, but they just didn't have the actual
mother boxes. Is there only 3?
Well, I mean, the sort of the many worlds, the multiverse theory would seem to suggest that there would be other planets with other superheroes, with other mother boxes, with a So I mean, that's a Scott McClellan situation.
Now I'm not too versed, but is there father box technology in Zach's world that you? Because like mother boxes are supposed to create, and father boxes are supposed to destroy, and that's sort of like how they work in the comic. I don't know.
The way they explain the mother boxes almost kind of negates the idea of father boxes. Because mother boxes are like life and father boxes for destruction. But Cyborg talked about how the boxes don't think in terms of life or death.
Yep.
Alive or dead. They just think of like changing or reinstating, right? So it's more of like changing rather than destroying or bringing life, I think. So I think that he kind of combined the two together.
It's possible.
Well, why do you have that mic?
Because I think it's been. I'm not sure. I'm not a major comic book expert, but I think it's Superman 29 where the father boxes say they're going out for a pack of cigarettes and they never come back.
Because of the mental.
Right. I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous and silly, and I apologize to everyone.
No, that's welcome. It's more than welcome. I mean, you've been on our show before. You know how silly.
You know how we roll.
This guy.
I like how he says Superman number 29.
Meanwhile, Nicatina's at home. He's like,
I'm just pulling weird. Somewhere Scott McClellan's head is smoldering.
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
But no, these are definitely.
The knowledge right now.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what happens in Superman 29.
That's a McClellan question. I mean, that really is.
Yeah.
You know, and again, you know, part of the reason why I'm making up such such stupid stuff is because I have no idea. There's people I guarantee you right now who know the answer to some of this stuff. Maybe not about father boxes, but you know, it's great because kind of being welcomed into this fandom. It's like there's really knowledgeable people here, and it's really fun to have them share their knowledge with me. I really like it. And the artists, I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They are a thing.
So there is provenance. Yeah, I kind of figured it is. Okay, here we go. Moondog. Thank you, Moondog. The Moondog 74. Also in the comics, there's multiple mother boxes. Also on New Genesis, they created father box tech to combat Apocalypse. So there you go. So father boxes are not used on Apocalypse; they're used against Apocalypse, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then there you go. I mean,
father box comes back when he finds the son box is rich. That does happen. That does happen. And weirdly,
and then the mother box comes back in, and
the father box comes back with a much younger mother box who used to answer phones for him and wants the son box to call her mom, even though she's 2 years younger than he is. It's a whole thing.
It's like, son, you will pay me what I'm due.
I think it's covered in Superman 29.
There you go. Dude, that's a really rich comic.
You know something, Red?
Guys like this thick.
The thing is, I'm sitting here discussing theories like a normal fan. I don't have the qualifications to even be an abnormal fan.
After this interview, most of the world will know that you're
Ray
Ray
Porter. Yes, but that will also be known as Ray Porter by many.
Well, if we're gonna go look and do some research, and they're gonna be like, yo, that was the one issue in Superman's continuity that never got made. So there's not even a Superman.
It was the lost comics. Of
it was lost issue.
I mean, how do you turn a DC Comics thing into a Sex in the City episode? Well, you've seen it right here. This is how we did it. Here you go. Quality broadcasting.
Oh, news from Warner Brothers. They're making a Superman 29 movie.
Oh, sweet.
Hold on. Just in. They've canceled that movie.
No. Oh my God. You know, speaking of Sarah Jessica Parker, who I was just speaking of her a minute ago, and many people in the world know her as Sarah Jessica Parker. Weirdly. I know that when UK fans were trying to watch it on that first, remember the horrible delay where Microsoft crashed.
Yeah.
You're talking about Y2K?
In the UK on Sky TV, people were all set to watch it, and they turn it on. They get a little thing saying, "Sorry, the movie you wanted to watch isn't ready. Here's this," and it was a Sarah Jessica Parker Christmas movie.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, tons of people were like, "Why am I watching a Christmas movie right now? I wanted to watch the Justice League."
Zach's like, psych.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Big
like,
surprise.
take that, Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
they got more than we did because I just sat there looking at
I
refreshing
had
emails.
snacks ready. I was like all celebratory. I was just, here I am, you know.
Yep.
Snacks are gone. I'm still waiting for the damn thing to load. It was
I ordered pizza. Like my sons had their friends come over, and we were gonna do this whole thing. I ordered 5 pizzas, and we were ready to go. and it just turned out to be just a chill night at home with a lot of kids.
Like I had my younger brother and my mom at our house, and my mom brought my brother to watch it with me, and we're just waiting. And same situation, we had the snacks, we ate them all, we were done, and then like 6 comes, we're just like, okay, we're just waiting, like 6:30, like okay, so it's technical issues, it'll be done pretty fast. And I had work the next morning at 5, so it's like okay, it's got to start like now, or else I'm never getting to sleep. And then by the time 10 rolls around, I'll at that point
he was already tucked in.
At that point, I only get like 6 hours of sleep, and I can't function on less than that. So I was like, yeah, I have to.
I'll catch it later.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
My brother watched it the next morning while I was at work, and then left and went home, and so I watched that next night.
Yeah. I stayed up and watched it, and then I got to go see it in IMAX the next day.
Yeah, that's
super cool.
Sweet.
Jay was there, right?
Jay was definitely there. Yeah, that was really fun. And I said it before, but visually speaking, it was just as rewarding on my TV as it was in IMAX. I mean, obviously it was bigger, but visually it was just as rich, really, really great. The sound, however, through the IMAX system, good Lord.
Yeah.
So,
I love it.
I could
Darkseid
imagine.
voice.
Because when Darkseid comes on, I crank up the volume.
Yeah.
I gotta say that
sound
is
is
possibly
just-
the best. That may be the best entrance. Certainly the best entrance I've ever had in my career, and maybe the best entrance I will ever have is when the parademons start bowing. Someone was like, "Why are you all bowing?" And then the music changes. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, Steppenwolf heard the music. He was like, "Oh, that's why."
your Darkseid ringtone. Da, da. Yeah.
And I like
Darkseid is calling.
Nice one.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
boom
that.
box.
Holding it like say anything.
Yeah.
He's holding it up.
I like that Steppenwolf looks shocked to see him. Like I kind of took that as he hasn't seen Darkseid in a long time,
Right.
and he's kind of just been communicating with Desaad, and
Right.
Desaad's kind of annoyed with him.
Giving credence that there wasn't the first world that Steppenwolf came to conquer.
Yeah, well, I don't think it is his first one, but it seemed like he seemed shocked to see
Yes.
Darkseid. He's kind of stumbling backwards. His armor's immediately gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the symbology of that like giving him his throat kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he would remove his armor in the face of Darkseid.
And how emotionally and physically vulnerable he is when he's around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Because we've all
That's
seen that
fantastic.
scene where Lord Helmet and President Scroob are in the same room. Is like, lift up your helmet. How do I know you're not making faces at me under there?
Yes, that may very well
That's a
be.
great analogy, Ryan. Fantastic.
There you go.
Yes.
Now, and when
You're going. Give me a moment, guys.
Oh yeah.
Are you leaving?
Yes.
Okay, I love you.
You
Call
lost
me
me.
at bedtime, okay?
Okay, I love you.
I love you. Bye.
Bye.
My son had
Orion.
yes, Orion is leaving. Yes.
But
when real quick, when Darkseid does mention like I'll be coming there, he's like, "You're gonna come to Earth, dude." His like his facial expressions, shouts out once again, visual effects fire, dude.
yeah.
Also, I do think somebody tweeted and I howled with laughter. They were like, "Can't get Darkseid to answer. He mentions the anti-life. Darkseid comes to the phone quick as shit."
Yeah, calling Darkseid. Yeah, messages left on red.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Steppenwolf pulls his pager.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
To me, he seems scared.
Yeah.
To me, he seems scared for Darkseid.
He's like, "Hello."
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's
There
like a
is-
kid
there is
who's told
fear
to
there.
like clean his room, and then his parents are just like, "Oh, I'm heading home." You're heading home?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
You consider somebody who you consider
did
the
my
person who is like under threat of death constantly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there is a very real possibility that Darkseid's just going to kill him,
Mhm.
then and there.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful setup, and again, it feeds into, and I've been saying this for a while. The one of the greatest examples of storytelling. You have this horrible, terrible, spiky, frightening, giant, deadly creature who, is as awful to people as he is to horses. You know, he's got this he's like, you know, all of this stuff. And by the end of the movie, people like feel bad for him. They're like, I want to hug Steppy. You know, you feel, but here's the deal. You feel sympathy for the villain. You feel kindred with the villain. To me, that's the essence of good storytelling. If you do, let's go back to Shakespeare. You do Othello, let's say. Iago people should be kind of into Iago throughout the play, so that when he really goes full evil at the end, they got to question themselves a little bit. You know, that's just good storytelling.
Yeah. I love the part you mentioning that when Steppenwolf is first talking to Desaad, and when Desaad like kind of chews him out, like you betrayed him, like your own family, and then like Steppenwolf's just like he looks up and just says Desaad, it's like bows for him, and just like the emotional.
Yeah, he just wants to come home.
He just wants to come home. And you mentioned the
and
sound.
I let him come home.
Yeah,
he did at the end. At the end, he got.
I mean,
he got
certainly
his wish.
not all in one piece, but most of him ended up. That's a problem.
I mean, he's under Darkseid's foot, but you know, who
yeah.
cares? But mentioning the sounds of, or I guess the music of Zack Snyder's Justice League, probably my favorite. I mean, obviously the whole score is phenomenal. I mean, Tom Hulkenberg, bravo, obviously.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite songs that they threw in there that wasn't necessarily made by him was the "There Is a King" for Aquaman's little bit on the docks. I thought that was so fitting for that scene. It was just like, yes, like almost the drunken kind of feel, like he's kind of lost in his own world, and I loved that so much. And so,
leaps and bounds over Iggy Pop.
Oh yeah, obviously. So my question for you, Ray, is besides, of course, your character's first entrance with that.
Yes.
What are some of the moments that really stood out to you in the score? I mean, I know it's a fantastic score. But which one really stood out to you and you're just like, dang?
Well, there were quite a lot in this film where the music just was all and everything. You know, I take my hat off to Junkie XL forever. You know, shades of music from the older films, you know, that music I love so much of Wonder Woman's. You know, but then talk about the bravery of allowing an entire slow song to play under the sequence of Barry going through the window and helping
Song to the siren.
Come on, man. And you know, that's the thing is, like, it takes as long as it takes.
Yeah,
and every moment is filled and it's really fun. I love that. I love
her voice in that song. Just
absolutely. The music when he's, you know, at the speed of force, when he's you know, going to make everything better. You know, the emotionality of so much of it, the simplicity of the music when Clark and Lois are at the farm. You know, it's perfect. The whole soundtrack is just terrific.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. I also, speaking of the flashes scene, I like. I love getting to explain that to somebody, some coworkers who like watched it and that was their experience with it or whatever. They were like talking about just the way Flash moves, and I'm very happy to have seen Zack in his interview explain that.
Well, did you explain to them the reason why the glass bows out at the end of his fingers is because Windows no longer supports Flash?
I did see that. That was a great tweet. Oh my gosh.
The layers.
Yeah. No, but just the Zack's thinking of somebody moving that fast. If they just caught somebody, they would go right through them.
Yes.
So the way Barry manipulates her to, you know, bring her down safely as opposed to just catching her. I thought that's fire. And I like people ask about it, like, you know, I have a little bit of knowledge that they don't have. It's kind of smooth.
Here's the thing. There's definitely, like, I want to watch a Flash movie that goes into the origin thing, and where that's just covered is like at some point he had to learn how gently he had to do everything when he is at speed.
Who did he catch?
You know, and where did that come from? That's something I'd love to see. You know.
Yeah. I also love that he knew that he could manipulate time.
Yes.
If he breaks a certain speed, like, you know, the speed of light.
There's a rule. Like, why is that a rule? When he says you've got to break the rule.
So that means, you know, he has foreknowledge of what this does, and he's done something similar or like this before. Not only in the ship, the scout ship, when he had to reverse a little bit in that, but it wasn't as grand as the end. But I mean, he's had that rule before, and even before then. So like, that he's got not a full range of knowledge of his powers, but a pretty good handle on what he is capable of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he knows it's when he breaks the speed of light, or when he goes faster than that. Like I just didn't think that he was going to know that he could do anything like that. Like I thought Bruce was going to have to kind of tell him, like, well, you did this, and you're able to. Really,
it's good storytelling. Yeah. You get so much of these characters, you get so much of it, and you still want to know more about them. That's great storytelling.
Mm-hmm. I got to share this tweet with you guys real fast.
Darkseid's rich in her life.
But
oh yeah, I mean go ahead.
Frank in the Snyderverse tweeted out Superman number 29 is where it's at.
There you go.
And
it's getting around. Everybody's gonna. I mean, that's gonna be really
from Jack Kirby's family now.
Yeah.
The Jack Kirby estate is like yes.
Superman 29 book sales are about to go through the.
I gotta say that was one exactly.
The 29 issue
tomorrow are going to be like, we don't have Superman 29. What's going on?
Call your comic book stores and ask them specifically for Superman 29. Tell them Darkseid sent you.
Don't do that. Do not do that. People are working all day, for heaven's sakes. There's COVID going around.
It's like, I don't know. I've had like 3 people call me about this issue and I can't find it. I just can't find it.
I quit. I want that to happen. That I got to say, I mean, talking about like Kirby's and all of that, to have, I don't know if you guys saw Jeremy Kirby's comments, his thoughts on the film.
We did.
The things he said to me, that I screenshotted that. That's one of the highlights of my entire career, like from the beginning ever. To have the blessing of Jack Kirby's family on this role meant everything, meant the world.
How do you top that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But it was one of the finest moments ever. I was pretty well blown away.
Yeah.
I'm literally just sitting here like searching up Superman number 29.
I already did. I already
looked it up. Found it. You found it.
1945.
Oh,
it's probably worth some serious coin. I literally just threw a number out. I'm sorry.
Did you? What's the cover?
Have I accidentally?
Hold on.
Let me see the cover. Oh wait, that's not.
Obviously, Darkseid hasn't been created yet, so he's not going to.
Not yet. No,
not yet. So, but.
Well, in 1989, Superman issue 29, it says Superman is another city's been murdered, and this time the Man of Steel will not accept the blame.
What?
Let me share this.
The 80s got
Superman
wild.
was going through some changes.
Oh, man.
Share screen.
Yeah, this is not crap.
You know, you're not yourself when you're hungry.
There it is. Hold on 1 second.
Wow.
And add to stream. There it is. So that's issue 29, but that's from 1989.
Okay.
That's not the 1943 is another one, but I was looking that one up, but this is the one I found of the cover.
That's
Dan
Comics number 29. From the 40s.
Wow.
Yeah, Dan Jurgens. There was another one I found where it was from like 2018, and it was like Superman meets this like alien from outer space that like almost kills him, and it's like not really a big character. It's just like, oh, dang it.
Yeah, it's just a one issue. It just comes out of nowhere, puts up a fight and leaves. But okay, so
yes,
where's it going with that? What is? Do you do like different accents? You know,
I've been known to, yes.
And which ones are the most? We've heard you do a little bit of English, but then also Scottish.
Scottish.
Like,
we're like, what?
Here it is. Real
like
quick,
what?
I found it.
You found
So
it.
that's Superman number 29.
Blow you up.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
There it is. And
Hey.
Superman number.
What's the caption?
America's favorite adventure strip character. It says you're my. It has a bunch of military people on it. Oh,
You're my Superman.
But that is Superman number 29.
What year is that? 43?
Yeah, It doesn't say on there. 1944.
44.
Oh man, that's the height of World War II. Of course they were.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yes.
I have that same exact book.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna
Okay.
check for us.
Page
You're gonna
274.
validate
Page 270. All the way in the back.
I'm going to
274.
check his work.
Yeah.
So you were asking about accents or dialects?
Accents, yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
have
love
you ever
accents.
been complimented on an accent from the person who speaks in that sort of cadence or accent?
Do you know, I've been doing audiobooks for a while. I've got, if you look me up on Audible, there's a hell of a lot of books on there. And I've always tried to get as close as I possibly can to being correct in a dialect, because I know there's going to be somebody from there that might be offended if I get it wrong.
Yeah.
I had a book that took place in Iraq, and a guy who's like, I live in Baghdad. That guy, he sounded dead on. I've had, people say nice things about my Spanish in books where I had to speak with, a Norte, Baja California, northern states kind of dialect, that sort of thing. I try to, and in places where it's, really an oblique sort of dialect, what I found is that if you can have as light a touch as possible, you end up sounding actually more like a native speaker than if you're, hello, here is my dialect,
Yeah.
because
Right.
people are very lazy in their speech. It doesn't matter how they speak.
Right.
So, and if you're fluent in English, you're going to throw words away and that sort of thing. So that was a trick that I learned early on about authenticity in dialects. But, people will say like, can you do an Irish dialect? It's like, well, what part of the country? Can you do an English dialect? What part of the country? Can you do a Scots dialect? Again, I ask you, what part of the country?
Can you do a dialect from Madagascar?
I could if you gave me a minute and some YouTube. Yes, I could.
That's like asking, like, can you do an American accent? It's like, oh boy, that's a whole other bag.
Well, that's the other thing is that, and even within certain regionalisms, let's say you don't speak with a very clear regionalism, let's say, you're not from the South, you're like from the middle part of the country where there's considered no discernible dialect. It's still discernible. You have to really listen. But even within that, there's mutations and concatenations and how you speak. Like I know the regionalism kind of around where I grew up was very, in many parts, Southern sounding, but that was mostly because a lot of people came up from Appalachia to work in the factories in the town in North Central Indiana I was in. And so there's, you talk the way your parents or your grandparents talk.
Sure, you're right.
So it's always going to be a little bit different. It's a very living, breathing kind of thing. So, I mean, I know, I was in college. There was a movie that took place in Louisiana, and we went, and I had a friend who was from Louisiana, and he was like, that dude's accent was from all over the state, which is a drag because it took him out of seeing the film. Whereas if the guy had not tried so hard to do the dialect, if there'd just been a flavor of it, he might have gotten away with it. Dialects are tricky. You want to make sure you're playing the scene and not the accent.
Right. Exactly. It's funny you talk about like being in different places with different accents. Like I grew up all over the country, so like I kind of pride myself in the fact that I like kind of accents from everywhere. But it's funny because I work in a factory, and every now and then I'm in Virginia. I'll hear like Floyd, call the operator, please. Call the operator, and I'm just like, I laugh in my head every single time because it's like that's so ridiculously thick Southern accent. It's just funny to me.
Instant grits, no respectable.
Put some butter in there.
Grits.
And people talk all different ways. So a lot of it has to do with like what character you're doing, that kind of thing. So that's part of the technical aspects of dialects.
Is there
Sorry, Ryan.
No, Allie, I've been talking like the whole time.
Yes,
I'm so sorry. No, you and Dave, I yield to you guys.
Please, Allie, please start talking, and please do not stop for the love of God. Anyway, yes, right.
I always thought it was interesting that movies that take place, like say Troy, or movies that take place in like ancient Greece, Middle East, they always have like British accents. Like
Well,
I've never understood that. It always kind of not bothered me, but like
How
I
about
never
Star Wars?
understood why they put that together.
How about Star Wars, where apparently everyone in the Empire went to Oxford?
what about Princess
My Lord
Leia?
Vader, the rebels. Yeah.
I never understood that.
It's a funny thing.
I
It's
don't
like
put those together.
Also, hey, war movies, right? I mean, I remember the older war movies where all the Germans were British accents, and it's like, don't do that. Why are you?
It's one of the reasons I love. It's one of the reasons I love Gal Gadot's. I think it just fits so well with her character. Like it just makes so much sense.
Her Israeli accent.
Like I don't like when people, I don't like when people, have negative things to say about that because I think it really.
Somebody says negative things about that. That's ridiculous.
Like even what's her name from Princess Bride? I forget her name. Robin Wright. She had to learn that that cadence, that dialect, because that's what they wanted to do with the rest of the Themyscirians. They were like, let them speak sort of with an Israeli accent, so it sounds otherworldly, or it doesn't sound. It's not British, or it's not American, or whatever. It's and it seems like they're all from this same island that sort of like they influence each other, like you were saying. You speak with like your parents. Well, they speak like each other because that's who they interact with all the time.
And I think that's a great point, Allie, talking about like different movies that take place in like either ancient Rome or Middle East where they speak with like British accents. How I've always thought of it is like maybe the people in charge of the dialect wanted the people to sound. Maybe they decided to go British because when people hear a British accent, like especially in a very intelligent British accent, they think distinguished, like a distinguished individual. And when you film like royalty in movies, no matter where the country is, like when you hear a British accent, you think, oh, they're royalty, they're distinguished. Like it's a weird thing that I've noticed too. It's really odd.
Well, it's you're trapped by the fact that the play or the book or the film or whatever is being broadcast. The language spoken is English, and so you want something that's clearly English and understandable, and yet is other.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why people tend to go, and it's great for British actors. They get employed. How wonderful. But that's why
I'll take it from here.
But also, I mean, there's certain dialects that just kind of, whether it's a result of pop culture or whatever, seem to suit. Like I can't imagine an Australian member of the Empire in Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Blimey, the Death Star.
Truth, mate. We're going to plan it up, right? It's Ripper.
That's not a saber.
It just doesn't work, right? So
that's sweet ass, man.
Yeah. Well, this has been bizarre and wonderful.
It always is.
Real quick, Ray. All right.
Yes, sir.
If I was a fictional character.
Yes.
Animated or whatever. Zach comes up to you. He's like, I got this new character for this animated film I'm doing. Voice this dude. How would you voice me?
How would I voice you?
Yes.
Ooh, I like this.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. That's a really very interesting question.
If you just saw the picture, he's like,
okay, just looking at your face.
Yes.
He's like, what's going on? It's fire.
Blow him up, Ryan. Blow him up.
Yes. And Zach just showed you a picture of me, and he said, "I need you to voice this dude for my next film." How would you voice me?
Oh, hold on. I want to help him out. Hang on. I'm sorry. Let me help him out. Let me help.
Honestly, I think I would just give it a very sort of normal sound. I don't know that I would do a discernible dialect. There would be probably there'd probably be not a lot of mouth movement around it. I think it'd be very specific and to the point kind of character.
I like that.
I mean,
Anthony, change your voice.
Just based on your face. It's like just.
What if he showed you my picture and he said, "All right, this dude's like he's a."
This is turning into like performing monkey.
Yeah.
He's a super spy.
Okay, he's a super spy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, being a super spy, I just don't know. Wow, dude. Wow. That's really pleasant.
So
that's
here you
one
go.
of his best ones. Obviously, that's one of his best.
Okay, fine. Here.
Good time.
Now he looks drunk.
Wow.
Roll my eyes, man.
You're so blue. I would likely go British with it, but I think I would probably not do upper class British. You look a bit more a bit more working class, like you come from, a bit of a dust up kind of thing,
I can see that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ray Porter just voiced me, y'all.
Yeah,
That's right.
You want to go down to the pub? Got him. Got him.
Who just said that? Thank you.
Ryan? Oh, which way is he? Oh, is that way?
You're going to be, I think you might want to just burn your passport. I don't think this is anytime soon. Oh, yeah. Our accent's real funny, right? Enjoy your plane flight home. Stamp. Bye.
You're gone.
Yeah. Turned away at the border for bad dialect. Ridiculous. And I probably got British people right now going, you suck.
You wanker.
I did my best. Nice talking to y'all. Very nice to hang out.
Hey, thank you so much for stopping by, and also to our guest panelists, Dave Avery as well as Allie from Super Hive.
My son's name is Avery. Sorry.
Oh, well, there
My
you
son's
go.
name is Avery. Yeah.
Oh,
See, this stream was meant to be.
Fun fact: my sister was almost named Avery. It's kind of a name can kind of switch,
He was going to be Avery either way. So
Yeah.
I bought some jewelry from James Avery.
What?
Great. Let's make all the connections we can.
Yeah, Avery. Everything's Avery. This. I was just wanted to be included.
Oh, man.
sorry to interrupt you, Ryan.
No, please. Like Ray said,
I don't have enough breadcrumbs to get home at this point. I've completely lost my way. Dave, it was very nice to meet you. I look forward to speaking again at some point.
absolutely.
And Allie.
It's really nice to see you again, Ryan.
Good to see you again. Good to see you again, my friend.
And thank you.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to do a round table. Final thoughts. Where can everybody find you? We'll start with a special guest, Ray. Where can everybody find you if they want to check out some of the other things that you've done?
Oh, okay.
And what do you have coming up?
Okay, well, this is a very little known fact. This is something I'm going to drop now, so it could count as a headline. But many people know me as Ray Porter.
At the beginning of the show.
That being said, I'm on Twitter. I had to put 2 underscores between my first and last name because there's a lot of Ray Porters out there.
Is Ray short for Raymond or Raymundo?
Just Ray.
No, okay.
Just Ray. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
No extra anything on there. I'm on Audible. If you go to audible.com and in the search bar type in Ray Porter, you can listen to audiobook samples of some of the things I've done. If you're not into audiobooks, you can look around and find a lot of really good narrators and, something that you're going to like. It doesn't have to be something I narrated. And I'm around. I'm currently playing on an endless loop in some people's houses as Darkseid, which is really cool. Makes me very proud.
You are the most listened to Darkseid of the year.
of the last week, I am the most listened to. Yes. As far as upcoming projects, things are slowly beginning to grind into gear. I'm very much looking forward to, the vaccines getting out there and us getting a handle on things so that I can start attending cons and saying hello to people in person.
Let's go.
Real. Don't know anything coming up as far as films or anything like that. It's all been fairly quiet. I've got a stack of audiobooks I've got to get done. Some voice acting things that are in the pipe I can't really discuss at this point, but some exciting stuff coming up. So I'm around.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for
staying
with us and having some fun. And Dave, where can everybody find you, sir?
I'm on Twitter at Ohio Dave with 2 E's. And if you like to want to play some games, talk it up a little bit, I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ohio Dave. And I also wanted to say to Ray before you go.
Yes, sir.
I think everyone here will agree with me, but your voice acting is after Justice League, like you were on like elite.
Thank you
Like,
very
the
much.
elite
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I
there's like
praise. I appreciate it.
Vero
Thank you.
Jones, like Morgan Freeman and like Ray Porter. Like you're up there.
Man,
Like, you're up there.
thank you very much.
They're up
Yeah.
there. So,
Thank you.
It was
Much
great talking.
Appreciate it. Good talking with you.
And Allie, where can everybody find you?
Twitter at SuperHypeDC and my YouTube channel is SuperHype. Ray, it was really nice talking to you and seeing you again.
Good to see you again.
It was funny because when we spoke on my channel, I spoke with you, and then during that same weekend, I watched the movie, and I was like, I just talked to Ray, and every time I was, well, still kind of now, but especially since it was fresh after our conversation, I was like, I just hear Ray. in a good way, like in a good way.
Like,
Cool.
I can't stop it. I hear Ray.
Oh, during when Darkseid comes on, like I just heard you. I was like, I just talked to this
that's the
person,
thing
and
I
that's
loved
what
about
like,
that is, as a quick sidebar, that's the thing I loved about the sound design, and that is that Kieran sounds like Kieran and Peter sounds like Peter, and I sound like me. You know,
I
so
was like,
there's some effects on there, but we sound like us. So that's super cool.
Yeah. So it's amazing though. It's absolutely amazing. Like I said, I definitely crank up the volume because it just
same.
Thank you so much, Ray.
Thank you. Most appreciated.
All right, and Anthony, do you have any final words?
No, just hey, I appreciate everybody coming.
All right, so I've got to do the Nickatina thing.
I'm here to tell you right.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not Nickatina, so I'm not gonna do that. I love you.
If you're gonna go Nickatina, gotta go full Nickatina, man.
You gotta go full Nickatina.
Gotta commit.
Okay, here we go.
Nope, not that. Nope, not again.
All right, no, I'm not gonna do it. Go ahead, Anthony. Where can people find you, sir?
Yeah, you can find me on all forms of social media at 2279 ACS. Twitter at _to the end of that. And Ray, it was good to talk to you again.
Good to see you
I think
again.
it's just been like 4 or 5 days with this.
I'm feeling more than I'm feeling my own family lately. Something wrong with that.
That's not right.
We gotta stop dressing alike.
Yeah, hey,
I know, right? Y'all coordinated that. I was like,
We did.
wow, that's pretty deep.
We did.
He's like, what shirt you wearing? Okay, I'll see you there.
Dave, Allie, y'all already know y'all my homies. We'll be in touch for sure. And yeah, that's where you can find me every Thursday, apparently at this same time, 7:30. Every other Sunday for World's Finest. And yeah, there it is.
With Wonder
Cool,
Meg,
that's
yeah.
Yeah.
Dawson, what about you? Where can everybody find you, sir?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NIMW32. You can also find me on Vero at Dawson Weedrick, and of course my YouTube channel Nerdy in Many Ways, as well as here every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, Ray, it's always great to talk to you. You're a gentleman and a scholar, and it's always awesome to conversate with you about all these different things, including Darkseid, of course. And yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here. Yeah,
thanks very much.
All right. Well, yeah. So if you've listened this far and you're still with us, you can find me also on Zeeverfett on my YouTube channel, as well as Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, whatever. And thank you so much, Ray, again for being here. It's such a pleasure to talk to you all the time. It's so fun. And please, yes, go also subscribe to Andre's channel, Nickatina Show.
yeah.
So he's no, don't Anthony's saying don't. Okay. So anyway, everybody have a great evening, and we'll see you guys next week. No, I'm not gonna do that either.
Wow,
See you.